Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friends of Jeung San Do. I'm your host, B.H. Kim. How was your week? I hope you had a good one. Well, for me, since the weather is getting hotter and hotter, I feel like I'm worn out. Actually, we exert a lot of energy every day, and there isn't a good way to recharge ourselves. So I hope you enjoy today's gathering with friends of Jeung San Do and recharge yourself with positive energy. Now, let me briefly introduce today's program. Our guided meditation is about proper breathing proper breathing while cleansing your penetrating vessel. And for an introduction of a key Jingsando teaching, there's going to be a brief talk on the topic of 상극, mutual conflict, and 상생, mutual life bettering. And don't forget to leave your comments and feedback after today's meeting. Do you remember the famous line in Avatar? I see you. Please turn on your video cameras so we can see each other and communicate. Now, shall we take a look at your comments about the previous session? Firstly, I have a comment from Udisha. She said, I'm from India and these days we have temperatures around 40 degrees, sometimes even higher than that. No AC or anything that helps. But today's session made me forget about the heat. I loved it. I've also heard about the rising temperatures exceeding 40 degrees in Southeast Asia lately. We are facing concerns such as energy shortages and food scarcity in the future. In my opinion, it may be a sign that we are nearing the end of the cosmic summer. Odisha, I'm so glad to hear that you're overcoming the heat through meditation. I hope you continue to take good care of your health through meditation. And secondly, here is Jayanti's feedback. She said, I've been having a stressful couple of weeks and couldn't continue meditating every day, but today's session definitely helped put me back on track. Thank you, Jayanti. I really like the expression you used in your comment, put me back on track. It's really not easy to do meditation every day, but meditating consistently will really give you a lot of strength. Sometimes I can't make the time to meditate due to my busy schedule, but then I always remind myself, let's start again. I encourage all of you to challenge yourself to meditate every day, even if it's just for a short time. Now, let's move on to the next part. I've adapted the passage from the Jeung San Do scriptures called the Dojan to provide you some meditation tips. Please relax and enjoy the story from the Dojan. Once upon a time in a village, there lived a maiden who couldn't get married for years and years. Then one day, she visited a wise elderly couple for advice. She asked them for magical words, a mantra. But the moment she arrived, the elderly couple was fighting. During the fight, they said with annoyance, I don't like anything. The maiden believed their words to be a mantra, so she diligently repeated those words like a mantra throughout the day. As a result, everyone in the family disliked her chanting, I don't like anything, I don't like anything. One day, when the maiden was carrying a water jar and reciting the mantra, her father accidentally hit the water jar with a flail while he was thrashing barley. The water jar flew and fell on a big rock. But then something amazing happened. The water jar did not break and none of its water spilled. The message of this story is that the mindset of the person reciting a mantra is perhaps more important than the mantra itself. This story in particular teaches a lesson about faith. When you meditate, it is important to trust the mantra without any doubt. And there's the part that I personally like is I don't like anything. It is important not to have distracted thoughts during meditation. But when you advance to a certain level of meditation, you will be plagued by all kinds of random thoughts. For instance, the mistake you made today, or the things you have to do tomorrow, or even the menu of tomorrow's meal. In those moments, the phrase, I don't like anything, is very helpful. It works for me. It's similar to what I learned from Anushurya in the previous session, the phrase, buzz off. I hope today's story resonated with you in some way. Now, let's begin our meditation. It is my pleasure to introduce our meditation guide, someone who delivers positive energy just by her presence alone. Let's welcome Ms. Kelly Jo.
Welcome everyone to the Friends of Jeung San Do meditation class. My name is Kelly Jo, your meditation guide. Before we start today's meditation, I'd like to thank everyone for leaving great questions and comments on Google Form. I was deeply touched by your sweet words. Thank you, Asha, Marina, Jaiwanti, Udisha, Riti, and Vanshika for your questions and comments. Before we begin, I'd like to briefly respond to a question and a comment I selected from last week. First, here's Asha's question. Is there any problem if I pronounce the mantra incorrectly or differently? And I think that's an excellent question, Asha. Well, pronunciation does matter in mantra chanting because each word is a small mantra. In other words, each word is a seed mantra. To maximize the experience of chanting, it's good to pronounce each word correctly to release the energy and vibrations within each word. Let's look at this another way. Imagine the reaction if I were to pronounce your name correctly versus incorrectly. I think I would get a happy, warm response by pronouncing your name correctly. It is the same thing with mantra chanting. Proper pronunciation will trigger the release of mantra energy and vibrations, which you can store in your body. Okay, let's move on to the comment. Riti said, maybe add more magical words. I assumed that this comment meant we should introduce another mantra. And the answer is yes. We will introduce another mantra called the 시천주주 mantra during a future session. It's a very meaningful and very powerful mantra. I hope you will enjoy the experience of learning this mantra and chanting it every day. Thank you everyone once again for your questions and comments. Now, shall we start today's meditation? Let us first calm our minds. Please sit with your back straight. You can sit on the floor with your legs crossed or sit on a chair. Please gently close your eyes. Let's engage in deep breathing while listening to relaxing music. As you inhale, imagine that the pure and bright energy of the universe enters you, filling your entire body. As you exhale, imagine all the trauma in your mind and the energies of illness and darkness leaving your body. Were you at one with your breathing, and did you experience calm? When you engage in deep breathing, you can calm the energy in your body. Let us now engage in Om-Hoom meditation. Om came into being when all vibrations became one at the beginning of the universe. Hoom embodies all the sounds of the universe. Hoom evolved from Om. Om and Hoom are sacred sounds. Let us breathe slowly and deeply. When you exhale, make the sound Om. Exhale like so. Om. When you inhale, make the sound Hoom in your mind. The vibrations of Om and Hoom will refresh all the cells in your body. By making the sacred sounds Om and Hoom, you have recharged your cells with vibrant energy. Today, let me introduce another meditation method. It's meditation for cleansing your penetrating vessel. The term penetrating vessel may seem odd, but it's very important to us. In fact, the penetrating vessel is one of the major energy vessels inside our body. Just like the roads in the world, roads that people use to travel and to transport goods, there are pathways inside our body along which energy travels throughout the body. One of these energy pathways is the penetrating vessel, which runs vertically along the center of our body, from the crown of our head to the perineum, which is located between our legs. If your penetrating vessel is cleansed, then energy inside your body will circulate much more efficiently. Also, you will be better prepared to receive the sacred energy of the universe. As a result, you will be energized and you will not be weighed down by fatigue. Let's breathe deeply to cleanse our penetrating vessel. As you inhale, imagine that the water energy in your lower body rises from your perineum to the crown of your head. As this water energy rises, it will cleanse your penetrating vessel. As you exhale, imagine that the fire energy in your head descends to your perineum. As this fire energy descends, it will also cleanse your penetrating vessel. As you repeat your breathing, raising water energy as you inhale, lowering fire energy as you exhale, you will continue the process of cleansing your penetrating vessel. Inhale slowly, counting to 5 in your mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now exhale slowly, counting to 5 in your mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Visualize your penetrating vessel, which is the vertical energy pathway that connects your perineum with your crown chakra. As you inhale, imagine that the water energy in your lower body rises from your perineum to the crown of your head. When you exhale, imagine that the fire energy in your head descends to your perineum. Please focus on the rhythm of your breathing because your breathing is the driving force that raises and lowers the energy in your body. We have just done deep breathing to cleanse our penetrating vessel. Did you feel energy move up and down in your penetrating vessel? Let's now listen to group chanting of the Teoju mantra and chant it in our mind as we cleanse our penetrating vessel. While chanting the first part of the mantra, 훔치 훔치 태을천 상원군, in our mind, inhale slowly. While chanting the second part of the mantra, 훔니 치야 도래 훔니 함니 사파하, in our mind, exhale slowly. Then, just as before, imagine water energy and fire energy rising and falling inside your penetrating vessel, cleansing the vessel.
훔치 훔치 델천 상원군 훔리치야 도래 훔리 함리 사파 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 훔치 델천 상원군 훔리치야 도래
Before we end today's meditation, let's have a short period of silence. Let's breathe deeply, appreciating the cleansing our penetrating vessel. It's very important to remember that today's meditation alone will not enable a thorough cleansing of our penetrating vessel. This is so because there has been a buildup of negative and impure energy in our penetrating vessel throughout all the years of our lives. I hope you will bear this in mind and continue the daily cleansing of your penetrating vessel by meditating at least 10 minutes every day. Then you will eventually feel the sacred energy of the universe enter your body. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, for your wonderful guide. Today, we tried proper breathing while cleansing your penetrating vessel. Through today's meditation, I hope you can spend time every day to purify your body. Now, let's move on to the next program. It is time to learn about the key teaching of Jeung San Do. The topic for today is 상극, mutual conflict, and 상생, mutual life borrowing. Please give a big round of applause for Mr. Kyung-gyu Lim.
Thank you, BH, for the introduction. Hi, my name is Kyung-gyu Lim. I'm a practitioner
hello.
with Jeung San Do, which is in South Korea. Today, I'd like to talk very briefly about the early heaven and the later heaven, building on last week's talk about the cosmic year. Before that, let me give you a short review of the cosmic year. As you know now, the cosmic year spans 129,600 years. The cosmic spring and summer combine into an era called the early heaven, which spans about 50,000 years. The cosmic autumn is the era of the later heaven, which also spans about 50,000 years. The cosmic winter, also known as the Great Ice Age, lasts about 30,000 years. I mentioned that the early heaven, which consists of the cosmic spring and summer, is the time of humanity's birth and growth. The later heaven is the time of humanity's maturation and fruition. Lastly, I share with you that we are now living near the end of the early heaven, and that we will soon enter the later heaven. Okay? So today I'll talk more about the early heaven and the later heaven to further shed light on humanity's past, present, and future. Now, as you know, we are still living in the early heaven, but much of that era has now passed. The early heaven has been a time of 상극. But what is 상극? In short, it is the principle, order, and driving force of the early heaven. In today's talk, I will forgo the cosmological background of 상극, which clearly establishes the very important connection between 상극 and the five elements, also known as the five phases, which are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. That teaching will have to wait because it really requires a much longer time than the short introductions I am providing you these 5 weeks. In terms of the word 상극, 상극 means to mutually constrain or to mutually oppose or conflict. Interestingly, there is great energy, tension in the word. In a sense, that's what 상극 is about, the energy and tension necessary for birth and growth. Let me give you an example. You might say a baby exiting from the mother's womb is an example of 상극, because there is a life or death struggle that goes on in the exiting process, but the end result is birth. Also, when the baby learns to crawl, stand up, walk, and eventually run, there is much pain and frustration along the way. Testing, pushing, stretching the child's will every single moment. But the end result is growth. 상극 is about birth and growth. This dynamic, you might say, has been the collective experience of humanity during the early heaven of the cosmic spring and summer. The principle and order of 상극 set the stage for humanity's incredible growth under a reign of conflict and competition. In this setting, there were winners and losers, the strong prevailing over the weak, men dominating women, people conquering other people, and so forth. To illustrate this, let me read you a passage from Jeung San Do's scripture, the Dojan. It says, "The early heaven is ruled by the destiny of 상극. The principle of 상극 has governed all humanity and all existence. And so, heaven and earth have never known a single moment free of war. Therefore, bitterness and grief now fills all the world." Bitterness and grief now fills all the world. This is an important revelation in Jeung San Do's teachings. Under 상극, all of humanity experience bitterness and grief. Let me give you a short example. Imagine this: Tribe A conquering Tribe B. Why? To seize land, food, and slaves. Members of Tribe B felt intense bitterness and grief from being attacked, killed, raped, robbed, and enslaved. During the attacks, members of Tribe A were also killed or injured, causing anguish among their spouses and children. Clearly, nobody was free of bitterness and grief, not those who were attacked or even the attackers. Let me give you another illustration of 상극, modern capitalism. As you well know, capitalism is based on competition, focus on the goal of maximizing profit. Competition, as you know, is extremely important because it motivates people to invest great energy and creativity to produce the best goods and services. But resources are always limited, and people's ability to share in the goods and services are never equal. So there are always winners and losers, and a huge chasm forms between the haves and the have-nots. You might say capitalism contributed vastly to improving our way of life, but you might also say it did so at great cost, such as social injustice and the degradation of the natural environment, issues affecting the entire world. Now, this is a very short explanation that demonstrates that Sanguk is extremely complex. It should not be viewed simplistically in terms of good and bad. Sanguk should be viewed as nature's driving force during the early heaven. And it was the catalyst that impelled humanity's growth, even as it spawned countless instances of bitterness and grief experienced by billions and billions of people across time, across the world. Let me move on to Sangseng, which is the principle, order, and driving force of the later heaven. The word Sangseng means to mutually nurture or to better one another. In a sense, Sangseng signifies harmony, openness, communication, and becoming one with one another. This will be the way of humanity in the later heaven, as illustrated by a passage in the Dojeon. It reads, "People have sought riches and renown in contests of authority and force throughout the early heaven. For such is the early heaven's way of Sanguk. I will bring forth the later heaven and its destiny of Sangseng to build a world in which goodness is the way of life. All nations will live by Sangseng. Men and women will live by Sangseng, and superiors and subordinates, in harmony with one another, will faithfully conduct their proper duties in accordance with their stations. Consequently, the world will become a realm of sublime benevolence and sublime righteousness." Let me say this. The I in this Dojeon passage is Sangjenim, the Supreme Being who had incarnated into this world and later returned to his throne in heaven. I will speak about him 2 weeks from now. Let me read you 2 more passages from the Dojeon. The early heaven has been an age of conquerors in which people have sustained themselves with sin, but the later heaven will be an age of sages in which people will sustain themselves with goodness. Authoritarian ways prevailed in the early heaven, but laughter will prevail in the later heaven. Sangseng signifies harmony, laughter, mutual respect, benevolence, righteousness, and many other wonderful qualities that are absolutely lacking in today's world. Why? Because we are still living under Sanguk. What will happen in the world of Sangseng? People will be taught without words, edified without effort. The world will know neither conflict nor inequity. All of this sounds dreamy, like wishful thinking. And honestly, it's really difficult for us to imagine a world of complete harmony because it absolutely cannot be achieved in this present world of Sanguk. To reach the world of Sangseng, we must first pass through a period called Kaebyuk, which is a great shift of time and space. I'll speak about Kaebyuk next week, introducing yet another piece of the puzzle. Let me wrap up today's talk. Sanguk and Sangseng are like the 2 sides of a coin. Sanguk, as I said, is the principle, order, and driving force of the early heaven, while Sangseng is the principle, order, and driving force of the later heaven. Nature's workings, or the workings of heaven and earth, involve both Sanguk and Sangseng in order to give life to humanity, stimulate its growth, and bring it to maturation and fruition. If you're interested in learning more about Sanguk and Sangseng, friends of Jeung San Do will provide you a good opportunity to do so in the coming weeks. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your insightful. That was Mr. Lim who introduced the key teaching of Jeung San Do. Now, let's take a moment for your comments and questions. If you'd like to share your comments or if you have any question, please raise your hands. Oh, Anushreya. Hi.
Hello. Hello everyone. I actually have a review for Lim sir. Sir, you were so calm and composed while you were teaching. But the teaching of cosmic year personally for me has been so confusing. But today the short session, it was so calm, and like it was all the things came into my brain like direct. The Sangak and Sangseng, they were so like the knowledge of them was only so like immense, boundless, that can prevail a long time. So thank you. And Kelly ma'am, I would like you to ask something. If she's yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, Pranju. Hi.
Yeah, hello. 안녕하세요, 여러분.
안녕하세요.
네. So I have like a comment and a question, both of the things. Firstly, I would give the comment on the meditation session. Okay. So cleaning of the what was that? The prayer, like I was doing the meditation today. Like what happened? Like with HSCD, I started the meditation. Performing meditation, and while performing my meditation, I started increasing my time period, like the time period I perform my meditation. And yesterday, what did I feel? I felt like in my head there is some heat which start evolving in the backside of my head. I don't know whether this is a thing which is related to meditation or not. And today, in cleansing penetrate time, when that calmness was evolving, like I was feeling my backside, my backbone, the vertebrate column. I feel coolness over there. I don't know whether it is also a
Wow.
part of the meditation or not, but yeah, I was feeling that thing. So I wanted to ask whether this is the thing which is related with the meditation. Is the meditation really working on me?
Yes, I think you actually circulate your water energy and fire energy. So I think it circulated, and I think you did cleansing the penetrating vessel, and it worked for you. You had a great experience, I guess. Good for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Can I make a
And
comment too?
yeah, and yeah.
Oh, okay. Regarding meditation, Kelly is our meditation guy, but I just want to just share a comment about what you said. That you are feeling many things as you meditated. I think that's natural. When you begin meditation, you'll have all kinds of feelings, all kinds of reactions. Just like if you were to go to the gym and start working out, you're going to feel the aches and pain. You're going to feel slight discomfort. But if you continue your training carefully over time, you will reap the success that you intended to reap. So continue at it. Follow Kelly's instructions, and I think you'll feel differently every time. and you'll actually feel a great deal of cleansing. So keep going.
Yeah,
going.
okay. Like in my early days, I do feel like sleepy. I felt sleepy during performing my meditation. I went into the imagination and I start sleeping while meditating. But okay, now thing is going. I guess I will try my best to perform my things. And there is one more question which I want to ask Mr. Lim. Mr. Lim, what is the longevity of the Sanguk and Samsung? That's what I want to ask you.
Could you repeat the last part of your question?
Like I am asking about the longevity of the Sanguk period and the Samsung period, like of Sanguk and Samsung.
Oh, the period of Sanguk and the period of Sangsang?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So in a very broad perspective, we associate Sanguk with the early heaven, which I said is about 50,000 years long. And Sangsang is associated with the later heaven, which is also about 50,000 years. So that's a general observation about Sanguk and Sangsang. But I think intuitively, you're feeling that it's more complex than that. Of course it is. So I'm trying to give you the big picture. As you study more and more into this, it's very complex. At the same time, it's very insightful.
Like the ice age occurs between the Sanguk and Samsung.
Right. The Ice Age, the cosmic winter is about 30,000 years long. It's a period of rest. I mentioned about that cycle of change, birth, growth, harvest, and rest. That it sounds really simple, in fact, too simplistic. But it's a cycle that governs, affects pretty much everything that we know as existence, even at the level of the cosmic year. So the cosmic spring is the time of birth. Cosmic summer is the time of growth. Cosmic autumn is the time of maturation and harvest. And the cosmic spring is the time of rest. So yes, it's the time of rest for heaven, earth, and humanity. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, you did. Thank you so much, Mr. Lim. Thank you.
Thank you, Franjo. And anyone has comments or question? Oh, Sonika. Hi.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So I have a not question like I have only feedback for both section. Like first of all, the meditation session was so good and relaxing. After meditation, hearing the lecture is so like getting every knowledge directly, no barrier, like word barrier, etc. And sir, like I want to say like early heaven about like we all know that each and every country fighting each other neighborhoods countries. So that is the biggest sign that we are like in early heaven phase. And like we saw like even we walking around the street or road, people fighting without any reason. Like if there is a reason, the reason very silly and narrow. Like we can't fight over like, oh, why you dropped this, why you did this. So I think like one day we will see later how. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to add on to what you just said, I think you talked about the incredible violence, war around the world as the sign of the cosmic summer. Yes. Next week, I'm going to talk about another piece of the puzzle, 개벽. Excuse me, scratchy throat. So near the end of the cosmic summer, everything reaches a crescendo. War, conflict, great changes in the natural environment, and so on and so forth. So these are all indications that the cosmic summer is about to reach its end. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
And next, Riddhi. Hi.
안녕하세요, 여러분.
Hello.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
Firstly, I want to say I apologize to you all for having bad camera quality today. Sorry for that, you can't even see me clearly. And about my thoughts, when I was meditating and having deep breaths, it feels so smooth and pure. Deep breaths were like little love notes to my body. Meditation helped me a lot to improve my mind, my heart, health, and bring more happiness. And about lecture, when teacher Lim was telling about competition, winners, losers, harmony, and communication, it motivated me very well. The true sentences of teacher Lim gives me a lot of information. Thank you. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
You are too kind with your words. Thank you.
Yes, you're too kind. And it's good to hear that you have a progress on your meditation. Thank you.
Then let's wrap up today. We've already passed halfway through our program session. How quickly time flies, but I look forward to the time we'll spend together in the remaining weeks. Don't forget to leave your comments on Google Form. I hope you practice the meditation you learned today every day. And everyone, see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
수고하셨습니다. 다음 주에 만나요.
다음 주에 만나요.
Bye bye.
See you again next time.